This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Ghimire with the news, the headlines first. Last rites of Nepali Congress leader Pradeep Giri performed at Pashupatinath Areghat. Election Commission preparing to print over 500 types of ballot papers for the upcoming House of Representatives and Province Assembly elections. Nepal Electricity Authority exports electricity worth around 2 billion rupees to India in the current fiscal year. And Pakistan's police launches investigation into former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. Now the news in detail. The last rites of the Nepali Congress leader and socialist thinker Pradeep Giri were performed at Pashupatinath Areghat yesterday. Leader Giri passed away at the age of 74 while undergoing treatment at the Mirdi City Hospital in Lalitpur on Saturday. He was a cancer patient. His mortal body was kept at Nepali Congress's central office Sanepa from the hospital for tribute yesterday. Former prime ministers, the top leaders of political parties, among other leaders, paid tribute to late leader Giri. Nepali Congress's president and Prime Minister Shabadu Deva paid tribute to leader Giri by draping the deceased body of late leader Giri with the national flag. Likewise, CPN-EML chairperson KP Sharma Oli also paid tribute to late leader Giri at Areghat. Late leader Giri was considered a fearless critic across the political spectrum, a socialist thinker and an intellectual leader. Meanwhile, the Nepali Congress has decided to lower the party flag at the party central and all other offices across the country at half-mast for the 3 days beginning from yesterday until tomorrow to pay tribute to leader Pradeep Giri. The party has also put off its program except for the condolence paying once for 3 days. An emergency meeting of the Central Working Committee held at the party's central office Sanepa yesterday passed a condolence proposal expressing sorrow over the passing away of leader Giri. President Vidyadevi Bhandari has authenticated 2 separate bills presented by the Federal Parliament. The Office of the President informed that President Bhandari yesterday certified the bill designed to amend Nepal Engineering Council Act and the bill designed to amend the Act on Senior Citizens. Meanwhile, President Vidyadevi Bhandari yesterday administered the oath of office and secrecy to newly appointed Nepali ambassadors to the Republic of Brazil and the Republic of Korea. Issuing a statement, the Office of the President informed that President Bhandari administered the oath to Nepal's ambassador to Brazil, Nirmal Raj Kafle, and Nepal's ambassador to South Korea, Professor Dr. Jyoti Pyakurel Bhandari, at a special program organized at Sital Niwas. The Nepal Electricity Authority has exported electricity worth approximately 2 billion rupees to India in the first month of the current fiscal year, which began on the 17th of July. The authority traded surplus power of over 242 million units worth 1.83 billion rupees to India, where power demands are high during the summer season. It says it is effortful to export additional 111 megawatts of electricity to India. The Nepal Electricity Authority started trading surplus energy from monsoon on the day-ahead market of the Indian Energy Exchange Limited since the 2nd of June this year. Ballot papers for the November 20 parliamentary and provincial elections will only include the election symbols taken by the candidates. Election Commission spokesperson Saligram Sharma Paudel said the ballot papers for the November 20 elections mentioning election symbols taken by the candidates under the first-past-the-post system and proportional representation will be printed. It means that the Election Commission will be printing over 500 types of ballot papers. The Election Commission said arrangements would be made for providing 4 separate ballot papers, that is, 2 for the House of Representatives election and 2 for the Provincial Assembly elections at the polling centres, and for managing 4 separate polling booths and ballot boxes. The Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Gyanendra Bahadur Karki, has pledged to deal with the Kosi flood victims in Sunsari district through a sustainable approach. Minister Karki's statement came as he reached the area yesterday to assess the situation of Kosi flood victims at the Sri Lanka Tapu in Baraha Kshetra municipality, Ward 6 and 9 after the recent flooding. He added that the government was working on a plan to address the issues of the disaster survivors by declaring the affected area as a crisis-hit zone. Finance Minister Janardhan Sharma has stressed the need for enhancing the service delivery and performance of public organizations. Speaking at a program organized in Kathmandu yesterday, Finance Minister Sharma expressed concern over the declining condition of public organizations despite having adequate resources. The Finance Minister said the public organizations could see improvement if the organization's leadership and staff had the willpower to reform. Minister for Health and Population Bhavani Prasad Khapung has warned of action against doctors who don't stay at hospitals during their duty hours. Inaugurating a pediatric ward of 36 beds and another ward of 40 beds with 2 operation theatres at Kosi Hospital in Biratnagar yesterday. Minister Khapung urged the doctors to treat the patients during the time fixed by the government. The Health Minister said the shortage of doctors and health workers at the government hospitals of the country would be resolved by hiring additional health professionals. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to some international updates. Pakistan's police has launched an investigation into the country's former Prime Minister Imran Khan. He is accused of making threats against the police and judiciary following a political speech he gave on Saturday. Tensions are high in the country, with the former leader's supporters gathering outside his house, vowing to take over if he's arrested. Since being ousted from power in April, Khan has been a vocal critic of the government and the country's army. Police opened their investigation into him after the cricketer-turned-politician accused authorities of torturing his close aide, who is himself being detained under sedition charges. The leaders of the United States, Britain, France and Germany held a conversation on efforts to revive the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, according to the White House. In addition, they discussed ongoing negotiations over Iran's nuclear program, the need to strengthen support for partners in the Middle East region, and joint efforts to deter and constrain Iran's destabilizing regional activities. No further details were given regarding the Middle Eastern portion of the discussion among U.S. President Joe Biden, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The European Union and US last week said they were studying Iran's response to what the European Union has called its final proposal to revive the deal, under which Tehran curbed its nuclear program in return for economic sanctions relief. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today, according to the Meteorological Forecasting Division. The weather will be partly to generally cloudy in Gandaki Province, Lumbini Province, Karnali Province and Sudur Paschim Province, and partly cloudy in the rest of the country. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is likely to occur at a few places of Gandaki Province and Lumbini Province, and at 1 or 2 places of the rest of the country. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin, but before wrapping, the headlines once again. Last rites of Nepali Congress leader Pradip Giri performed at Pashupatinath Aregat. Election Commission preparing to print over 500 types of ballot papers for upcoming House of Representatives and Province Assembly elections. Nepal Electricity Authority exports electricity worth around 2 billion rupees to India in the current fiscal year, and Pakistan's police launches investigation into former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.